It's 7:30 a.m. and London's emergency helicopter is on its way in to work.
Hands off, Robin Coffee, Mike Sierra, should be overhead in a couple of minutes.
Each morning it flies the 22 miles from its overnight base at Denham Airfield to the Royal London Hospital. As the helicopter lands on the hospital rooftop, the day's first emergency call has already been received. But the incident is so close to the hospital that the HEMS team has already decided to take the emergency car rather than wait for the aircraft.
Okay, past Threadneedle Street is the first lift, NatWest Tower, past NatWest Tower. And
On duty this morning is trauma doctor Pete Leman and paramedic Ian Wilmer. The incident involves a pedestrian, Michael Atkinson, who has been hit by a van on his way to work.
There it is.
The ambulance crew on scene has requested a trauma doctor because they are concerned that Michael has sustained a serious head injury.
Michael, open your eyes for me. Michael, where are you? Where are you, Michael? Okay, all right.
He came around the corner, basically sideswiped him about 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, and he's hit that.
Yeah, you can see there's the bones all cracked.
Okay, all right. Whilst you're just getting, I'll have a quick look at the damage to the car. And we also have for a tube, mate, because he's just that thing. See where his, obviously where his head's hit that van. Yeah, he bounced off there as he hit his head on there. Okay, all right, cheers, mate. He's got a major head injury. Obviously, he may have a significant fight inside his head. And what we want to do is get him to sleep, get his good oxygen supply, control his blood pressure, and get him straight to the Royal London where we can scan him and sort out what's going on. As you can see, he's been hit by that van at quite high speed, a massive head injury. So we'll need to see, but...
Pete gives Michael drugs to put him to sleep. Once they have started to take effect, Michael is no longer able to breathe for himself. So Pete passes a tube into his lungs to allow his breathing to be controlled by the medical team.
Give me this bougie. Okay, I want you to hold the bougie and the tube for me together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
With the tube now safely in place, Pete can turn his attention to the injury on Michael's head.
Okay, it's O2. Open the trauma pack and there should be some 2O silk in the hidden pocket, yeah? I just put a couple of stitches in there. Yeah, just turn the fluid off now, thanks. You want to give him 5 milligrams of that, that's 5 mils of that, yeah? He's got a big wound in his scalp, which is where all his blood's coming from. I'm just going to put a kind of big, it's bleeding quite a lot, as you can see.
Is that worrying in itself?
Well, you can lose a lot of blood from a scalp laceration like this. I mean, it's quite surprising. I mean, look at how much on the floor there and on the road over there. So this is just a first aid measure, really. These stitches.
Did he up or did he stagger a bit? Or?
I don't know actually. What are the numbers reading there? I can't see.
Numbers are pulse rate 157, BP 203 over 104, 4.5 CO2 and 96% saturated.
Okay. Unfortunately, we have to cut all the clothes off so we can get him skin to scoop so we don't miss any injuries and we can carry him better. I mean, obviously, anything could be underneath all this clothing, and we need to be absolutely certain that we've not missed anything and we can see the patient properly. So what we do is cut all the clothing off, or as much as is decent in the public area, and put him straight onto the metal scoop.
1, 2, 3.
How's that?
Satisfied that Michael has no other injuries, Pete now needs to get him to hospital quickly to have his head scanned.
Good. Bang, bang, bang. So bring it all and you're going to drive back, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, you've got a bag in yourself now.
Thanks, mate. Hello there, it's Peter the Man, HEMS Registrar. Hi, we're bringing you a patient. We're bringing it by road, so we'll be with you in about 3 or 4 minutes, okay? All right. It's a approximately 55-year-old male pedestrian hit by a van, bullseye to the windscreen, LOC at scene, GCS responding to pain only on the LAS arrival. GCS when we arrived 13, large right-sided head injury, boggy swelling, bleeding excessively, intubated and ventilated. hemodynamically stable, and we'll be with you very, very shortly. Okay, all right, bye. You have to tell them we're coming by road, because if you don't tell them we're coming by road, they wait to hear the helicopter landing on the roof before they assemble the trauma team. So you sort of sneak in if you come by road, so they don't hear anything.
With Pete on his way back to the Royal London, a call has come into the helipad, and the Medic 2 team has been dispatched by Operations Officer Richard Camilleri.
This is a 50-year-old female, approximately. She's got a degloved left foot and a head injury. Degloved means that most of the flesh has been removed, and yeah, a significant head injury.
In the helicopter, Dr. Steve Oakey looks over the notes from the emergency call centre. The initial 999 call reported the accident as an attempted suicide. Steve won't know the condition of the patient until he arrives on scene, but it sounds very serious. Back at the Royal London Hospital, Pete has now arrived in the ambulance with Michael Atkinson. First priority for the resuscitation team is to assess the injury to Michael's head.
I think, I mean, obviously most of the blood's from a large scalp laceration, but he's had significant force, so the windscreen wasn't that badly deformed, so he might be very lucky to get away with just a concussion. Or he might have a clot inside his head, so until we've got a CT scan, it's a little bit hard to say. So I'll reserve judgment, okay?
Within 10 minutes of his arrival, Michael is taken into CT scan. Here, radiologists examine images of his brain, looking for signs of injury or damage.
Okay guys, coming up at the left-hand side.
The pilots have spotted the second accident from the air and set the helicopter down in a nearby car park.
Nice easy place to land.
47-year-old Pam Duke has been run over by a lorry carrying a load of concrete. She has sustained multiple injuries, but as Steve arrives at the scene, she is still conscious.
So you're most worried about her head and about her left leg?
Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone actually see it? Anyone know what happened?
He might have seen it, he was behind.
Chap here. All right, thanks a lot. Hello, sir. Did you actually see what happened?
Yeah.
Could you tell me sort of what the lorry went over?
Run over the back of her legs this side,
yeah,
and the top end sort of hit her body, spun her over as he was braking.
So her head has been underneath the lorry. Okay, thank you very much, that's very helpful. Okay, this lady's obviously got quite severe multiple injuries, head injury and left leg injury, so she's cerebrally irritated at the moment, doesn't know what she's doing. And is obviously going to need intubating. Yeah, that's all right.
We should be going in HIMS, or?
I think we probably will airlift her to the London.
Yeah.
As you can see, there's a lot of people working on her at the moment anyway, and you know, they're all doing the right thing. I'll carry on letting them do that, get the monitoring on before I go and have a look at her. So it's not like she's sort of not being looked after.
Back in the trauma unit, Michael Atkinson has now had his scan and is beginning to wake up. Luckily, despite some minor bleeding inside his brain, the results show no permanent damage.
Michael, do you know where you are? Okay, well you had a bit of an accident and you're in hospital now and everything's okay. We're just waiting to transfer you to a ward. I'll let you get some sleep because you're going to be a bit tired.
Michael will have to spend 2 weeks under observation before he's allowed to go home.
Okay, how are we doing? Do we know her name? Pam. Pam? Pam? Hello, my name's Steve, one of the doctors. Any pain down here, Pam, or is it just in your back still? All right. Okay, so the foot's more or less off this bit. Pam, listen to me. Pam, listen to me. You say nice and soon, we'll give you some painkillers, all right? We're going to pop you off to sleep. As you see, it's obviously this lady's very, what we call cerebrally irritated. She's had a severe head injury and doesn't know what's going on, a lot of pain, and the best thing we need to do for her really is get her off to sleep, get her intubated, and get lots of oxygen into her brain, and also take all the pain away. She's got quite a severe injury to her left foot, and a lot of skin has been torn off. So we're just going to get on with that now, and then the nearest multi-hospital, which is all the specialties you need, is again the London. So although it's the second patient today there, then it's still the best place for her to go. So that's what we're going to do. Right.
Nice and still.
All right, Pam, I'm going to be popping you off to sleep just now.
Some cars used to be such a waste of space. Nooks and crannies all over the shop. So those know-alls at Vauxhall thought, why not take all this useless space and make it useful? And by using computer technology, they believe their range of Vauxhall estates have done just that. And yes, they're very spacious, because inside here isn't. But look, still lots of room for improvement.
Vauxhall, raising the standard.
Decided to do up the house. So we came to Focus Do It All. Cause if you buy a Bosch circular saw, or jigsaw, or hammer drill, or rechargeable drill, you get a hot air gun worth $24.99 free. Problem is, he can't make his mind up which one to buy. Focus Do It All. Great choice, great value.
Cheltenham and Gloucester Mortgage can open the door to all kinds of homes. We can even fine-tune a mortgage to suit you. Whatever your idea of a dream home, it's our job to help make it a reality. Cheltenham and Gloucester, looking after your best interests.
Well, that looks practical and yet attractive. This one, or this one. Yeah, good, it's surprisingly warm.
Gorgeous.
Is it up, or is it down?
Down.
Get off it.
You see, you're paying for the label.
Yeah.
Which one?
But which one?
Doesn't matter. What's the matter with you?
You got a mouse there? What are you celebrating?
Last day undercover.
Any excuse for celebrations.
Men.
The perfect album they all wanted to be on. Perfect Love 3.
But my love is all I have to give. Your love is my love, and my love is your love. Turn back the head.
Perfect Love Volume 3. Available at Woolworths. Double CD, $14.99.
You can't keep a good man down.
It's showtime. Sensational.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is
The Running Man.
tonight at 9 on 5.
A 47-year-old woman, Pam Duke, has been run over by a lorry. She has been anaesthetised for the helicopter flight back to the Royal London Hospital. Trauma doctor Steve Oakey phones ahead to alert the resuscitation team.
Hello, this is Hems. We've got a lady who's about 60 who's been seen to jump in front of a lorry fully loaded. She's gone right under the wheels and out the back, according to the following motorist. She's got a significant head injury, GCS 12 to 13, but seen to move all 4 limbs. Is now intubated and ventilated. She has a significant degloving of her left foot. And we'll be with you in about 15 minutes, I suppose. Thanks a lot, bye.
109, just I'll call you back shortly. 5 up at 10, so Taliban handover.
Airborne Square 126, back to 11.
On the helipad, fireman Jim Seeger prepares the stretcher to carry Pam into the hospital building. Her condition is monitored continuously until Steve is able to hand over to the resuscitation team. With Pam now being cared for in A&E, Steve has time to answer some questions from the police.
Well, she's got a significant head injury. She's lost most of her left leg below the knee, and she's probably given the mechanism. The guy driving behind us saw her go under the front of the lorry, roll around and out the back. So you've got to consider her pelvis and other internal injuries, and she has got what we call a volume problem in that her blood pressure's been low and she's been a bit tachycardic. She was sort of stable on the way in, but obviously now we need to have a good look at her answer. And answer to your next question is yes, it could be fake.
Okay, excellent.
Okay,
right, thanks very much. Cheers.
As the resuscitation team fight to keep Pam alive, upstairs, Hems is already dealing with the next call.
It's 4th floor on a building site, girder fallen on some chap's leg. Possible severed.
Because the call is local, Dr. Matt Neal is taking the emergency car.
Red Base Medic 1, we are mobile in the Audi. Well, I've got Merrill Lynch building site
right.
near the Old Bailey.
Right, and we've got the other.
5 stories up on a building site, a 1-ton steel girder has fallen onto the leg of a site worker. The accident happened 20 minutes ago, and an ambulance crew is already on the scene. The quickest way for Matt to get to the patient, Alan Carvel, is by crane.
You're going to be able to get... Is it off his leg now, or... Oh, good. Okay. So we're going to be able to get back down in this anyway, aren't we?
Yeah.
Back to London? Nearest. Afternoon.
Before Matt assesses Alan's injuries, he is briefed by the paramedic on scene.
This beam here is fallen onto his leg. He can't feel his right foot. If you want to...
Alan's leg has been snapped in two a few inches above his ankle.
Okay. All right, lad. Okay. What's his name?
Alan.
Alan. Hello, I'm Dr. Neil. We're going to get you off here and get you sorted out, all right? Okay. I'm going to give you some fairly strong painkillers just so we can get you onto the stretcher. All right. Do you take any regular medicines for anything?
Whiskey.
Whiskey, good. Same here. Do you have any allergies to any medicines? No long-term health problems? Heart all right? Excellent, good. I'm just going to stick this down for you.
Yeah.
There's much bleeding down from that leg at the moment. Okay, great. Yeah. So we can line him up, give him some ketamine, get him straightened out, get him on a scoop, and then...
Yeah, we'll get a drug box. JP, have you got everything set to go up? As far as everything? Come on then.
The resuscitation team at the Royal London have finished their assessment of Pam Duke and now have a clear picture of her injuries.
She's got severe head injury, she's got broken ribs, she's got free fluid, which is almost certainly blood in her abdomen from probably a ruptured spleen or liver. She's got a degloved leg. She's really got quite severe multiple injuries, and long term her outlook would not look that rosy.
The first priority for the team is to stop Pam's internal bleeding, and she is taken up to the operating theatre for emergency surgery. On the building site, Alan is starting to feel the effects of the pain-killing drugs Matt has given him. His leg has now been put into a splint so he can be moved onto the stretcher.
Right, we're just going to be putting it in the cage, are we? Are they going to be able to bring the cage to here, or...?
So we could probably carry it to the cage.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's okay, yeah.
We'll have to carry it over there.
Right, I think 1, 2, 3. Right, just regroup for a sec. We all got this?
Yeah, I've got...
Just come back with me, yeah?
Okay, straight back.
Yeah.
Hello, it's Dr. Neil with Hems. We've got a patient for you. We're bringing in by ambulance from just outside the Old Bailey building site. He's got a compound fracture to his right tib and fib. His leg was crushed by a 1-ton steel girder on the 4th floor of a building site. He's conscious, he's had some ketamine, so he's reasonably comfortable. We'll be in about 6 to 10 minutes. All right. Thanks very much. Bye.
Despite the combined efforts of Hems and the other doctors at the Royal London, 3 hours after she was brought in, Pam Duke died from her injuries. Because of the difficulty of landing in the dark, the helicopter is unable to work at night. At sunset, the pilots fly back to the overnight base at Denham Airfield.
Factory position, the wind 300 degrees, 15 knots.
But although the helicopter is going home, the HEMS doctors aren't. Twice a week, HEMS remain on call until midnight, using the emergency car to get to accidents around London. Tonight, Dr. Steve Oakey and paramedic Ian Wilmer are on their way to their first call-out of the evening, a road accident on the south side of Tower Bridge.
Straight on. Red base, Delta Alpha 33 on scene, over.
There has been a collision between a minicab and a black cab. The minicab driver, 25-year-old Abul Chowdhury, is still trapped in his seat.
He said his left leg, he can't move it, he can't feel it.
Okay.
But this one's all okay. I've asked him to do it, but he's not quite with it. He's a little bit dozy.
Right.
And I did ask him to move his leg, but he wasn't able to do so.
Chest all right?
Well, I've not had a listen. I've only been on scene 2 minutes myself.
Oh yeah, you carry on and I'll have a quick listen to the chest. And
open your eyes again for me.
Just going to have a listen to your chest, mate. Can you tell us your name, sir? Okay, no worries. Okay, slap some monitoring and stuff on, and yeah, I'll grab us one. I mean, that's a fairly big impact.
Yeah, that's more than 20 miles an hour to me.
He's stable with the GCS of 13, trapped leg, not able to move the leg. So I think we'll rip the roof off and take him out, I think.
To get Abul out safely, Steve needs the help of the fire brigade.
Hello, Steve, I'm one of the doctors from HEMS. This guy, he has knocked his head and he's a little bit dopey, but he can't move one leg. So if you're happy, we'd like to do a roof off through the top.
Yeah, no problem.
That's practice anyway, isn't it?
Okay, roof off.
While the fire crew prepare, Steve checks on the driver of the black cab.
Oh yeah?
Hello, this is young Albert.
Hello Albert, my name's Steve, I'm one of the doctors from the Royal London.
Right. Okay.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Is that your head that's done that to the windscreen?
Yeah.
These guys looking after you brilliantly. I think you ought to go along to hospital and just be checked out.
Yeah,
anyone that's hit their head and done that to the windscreen, it's a fair impact, alright? Thanks a lot.
No problem.
See you later. Okay, just step right back out of the way, the fire crew in. You can see what's happened, more or less a front-on impact. The guy in the minicab has a slight decreased conscious level, which is always a concern with that sort of impact. He can't move his left leg at the moment, and we're worried about his head injury, about his neck, and about that leg. So the safest thing to do for him is a full spinal immobilisation evacuation, which means getting the fire brigade to cut through the A, B and C pillars of the car, take the roof off so he gets a nice convertible for next summer, and then we'll put a spine board down his back and slide him up and out the roof along that board, so we don't have to bend him to bring him out the door or whatever.
Halfway up the board, they tend to slide back down again, don't they? Yeah, do it in little hands. You give a shout and do it in like little kind of 8-inch kind of movements. Just make sure there's plenty of hands.
Although Steve can't identify any specific injuries, he must err on the side of caution and get Abul out of the car with as little movement to his neck and back as possible. Once out, Abul is taken to hospital where he can be thoroughly checked over.
We've got a 25-year-old chap who's been in an RTA. He's a GCS 13, complaining of decreased movement in his left leg. And we'll be with you in about 5 minutes. We're just at Tower Bridge. Okay, cheers, bye.
You ready? Yeah. Ready? Yeah,
marvellous, over the moon.
Thanks, John.
After assessing Abul in resus, doctors at the Royal London were satisfied that he had sustained only minor cuts and bruises, and he was sent home later that night. Two days after his accident on the building site, Alan Carvell is recovering from surgery to his leg.
I didn't know if I'd lost my leg or just broke it. You can't tell because it's all dead.
feel the worst?
Oh, for you, you've got to feel the worst, but as luck as that, they only snapped it. They put a steel pin through the bones. I reckon it'll be about 3 months before I get back to work. It could have cut my leg straight off, couldn't it? But as luck it didn't. So I've still got 2 legs.
Another dramatic day's work for our high-flying lifesavers next Tuesday at the same time. Next tonight, from fact to futuristic fiction, Arnold Schwarzenegger stars, and more details are but a moment away.
There's a free fact sheet to go with this programme. For a copy, please write to Condition Critical, PO Box 55, London W12 8UE, or call the Channel 5 order line on 0990 555 055.